culture shock in terms of work ethics.
Yeah.
What we were fighting against, you remember, was the rain.
Yes.
So there was
Listen, a Jamaican tell you so they soon come?
yeah.
They ain't coming.
Yeah.
What's up, family? What's up?
Yeah, what's up, YouTube family? Father, take this video, give us the words, right attitude, and let it come across as it meant to Father, and your name be glorified. This is our prayer. We pray in the name of your Son Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Today we're talking a little bit about our experience with construction work down here.
Some of our construction projects.
Some of our construction projects.
Yeah. How it started, some of the challenges, and how we got around them. And it's gonna be an interesting one, so stay tuned.
Yes. How did we get into construction work? Right.
So
Should we start? Should I start? Rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Back up a little bit. We were doing some construction at the property, some minor things, not like an addition or anything like that, but we were having the boundary walls put in, we were having fences and extending the driveways and things like that, having welding work and all of that, and so we had a contractor who hey we had a contractor who wasn't the greatest, was recommended by somebody, not even recommended, they were using him at the time, and I think because of the price, we were like, yeah, you know what, let's go with him.
Yes.
It was one of the most cost effective quotes that we'd had, so we went with them. Anyway, that wasn't a good idea. Never take on a contractor because of the price. Always make sure it's by recommendation. You've gone to see the work that they've done beforehand. You ask from multiple people about their experience,
their customers,
and you make the decision based on that, never because of price. So the work took longer than normal, and there was a lot of mishaps, and
price kept escalating.
So we were having those works done, and we had a lot of issues with them. They were like, they didn't know what they were doing. Because of that experience,
we had to get rid of them.
We had to get rid of them, and we got some other guys to finish up the works and stuff.
We start managing ourselves.
Alright, driver. Yeah. So anyway, most of our neighbors are overseas, right? Our neighbors started asking, can you look over this? Can you make sure, they're doing the job what they're supposed to do? They also weren't comfortable sending the cash directly to them, so we facilitated that, being the middle person. We'd pay them once they completed the work, and it just really started as a service. So we were serving the community. And before you know it, we had so many people asking us to do this, whether it was from, do you have a number for somebody to install the AC, or the guttering, I need guttering done, I need this done, I need that done. And then we just ended up being the people that people would call for stuff. I'm like, where did this come from? But only God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it had gotten to the stage where the numbers had increased so much and the projects were now becoming a little bigger and bigger and bigger, and we said, okay, because it's, you know, it's taking up our time and all of that.
It was costing us as well.
It was,
you know,
it was
petrol.
It was, and many of these projects, actually, I must add, we weren't being paid for or anything. You know, we were just doing it because
we were
you
here.
know, we were just here. We were just being a good neighbor.
Yeah.
And so we started taking on these projects, and I had a great time, aside from the workman them. Aside from sometimes the workman can really prove, oh boy,
difficult, and obviously the culture shock in terms of work ethics.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
It took us a minute to catch on, and then once we realized what it was, then obviously we had to adjust and start making it work for us. Because one of the things that happened, when they get paid, they're gonna disappear for a day or two, or that workman might not even come back. Right?
Oh gosh.
And
alright, so they get paid on Fridays, okay? Down here, you'll pay the workman on a Friday. Every Friday they'll come. Some of them you have the arrangements where it's every fortnight.
Yeah.
And they don't work the full day on a Friday either. They barely do anything on a Friday.
When you do find the ones that's committed and takes pride in what they do, you won't find a better workman. And eventually we end up putting a team together that they had the work ethics that we were expecting, because we learned the hard way, right? We
didn't want anybody else to like experience that and lose money, and you know, you lose a lot of money when you don't have good committed workmen, unfortunately.
Or if you're not on the ground yourself managing your project, then you need someone that is trustworthy. It's not just ordering the products, but you want to also make sure when you order it comes on time. You don't want to be decking something and you're expecting how many bags of cement, and all the workmen are there and they're not going to deliver to you on time. So you want to build up that. So those were some of the challenges that we were facing, and we had deadlines to meet, and we've made commitment to these clients, and we were
we took it very seriously. I don't think anybody worked as hard as we did. Seriously. Because we're like, you know, it's our neck that's on the line. Even though it's not us physically doing the work, we really took it on as, no, we've said to these people, based on what, you know, the information that the workmen were giving, we say, okay, this is a time frame, this is the cost, you know, this is the expectation, and we were night and day, you know, and
no, seriously, and it, some of the times we literally roll our sleeves up, put gloves on,
many times,
and do the work ourselves, whether it's a pool that needed to be dug out and the workmen were slacking, we jump in and we were there with the what was it?
With the
jackhammer. We were there with shovel sometime, mixing mortar. There's occasions.
Just to keep it moving, just to keep the momentum going, because, man, if we could do all the work ourselves.
We would do it, but
we would.
It's obviously not, you know,
Yeah,
practical.
even one time that we had the occasion where the pool we had a truck.
The cement truck.
The cement truck came, but it was at night when there was no workman there to float off
anything.
No, we jumped in. Our neighbors came and helped us. And we floated the bottom and
we did a lot of stuff just to keep things turning over, and we were more interested in getting the project completed on time and properly. So that was our main goal. The money that we made, right?
I don't even know if we made any
I don't
money.
know if we made
to be
anything,
honest.
but
I don't think we did. And I think, oh Lord.
but that's what I'm saying. The point I'm making is because we gave so much of our time that we didn't charge for, and so much effort. So we didn't even take the cost with our petrol and time and hours at the bank, hours at the hardware. Because what we did as well, we did a lot of shopping around to make sure the clients were getting good value for money, as if it was ours.
We tried to go to the cheapest hardware rather than just go to the most convenient or the closest one.
And that took a lot of time.
That took a lot of time. I tell you, said all the hardwares know us. They knew us. Name.
Good.
Them know we're good. And we were there every day, sometimes for like a minimum of an hour.
Yeah, and several times.
And several times for the day.
And this was just to make sure things were happening, turning over the way we wanted to turn over.
Yeah.
Because you can place an order, and if you're not on top of it, the order can come 2-3 days later. They just don't deliver, and what that does is then slow down the work. And what we had in the end that we were fighting against, you remember, was the rain.
Yes.
So there was a period where we had to start early and try and beat the rain, because if you're gonna do stuff like decking and doing mortar work, you don't want to just cast something or just flush up something and then the rain comes.
Yeah.
That's material lost, and you have to pay the workman again. It's not like he's gonna come and say, "Oh, let me do it for you again."
That's something to consider, guys. If you're building during the rainy season, that you will have to give yourself a little bit more time. Add 6 months to that project.
Get information, not just from the person that you're working with. Ask around. Get several quotes, and while the work is actually happening, sit down with them and ask them questions and get breakdown of things. Get an understanding of how they're charging you, right? Get a full understanding of how they're charging you. Understand if it's per square foot or if it's
just by the job,
or how much they're charging you for every 100 blocks. Just get an understanding. You don't need to have all the details, but just a general understanding of how they charge, and that will help you to stay on top. Because if they realize that you don't understand the way it works, you'll find yourself paying for one job they've done 2-3 times over. Do you understand? And in the end, at some point, we kind of end up in a situation
where ended up, and I think for us it was difficult because we never want ball down a man on his price, right? Because working down here in Jamaica is not easy. You're in the blazing sun, you know. It's hard work. So at the same time we were trying to balance that. And I think because of that they did take advantage, but we quickly. But it was difficult because we could have said, get rid of them, but then you end up with the next problem is picking up a next slack. Workmen slow down the work. They can't. They don't. The quality is poor. The finish is poor. So it was
like you can't just go grab any old workman, because we're trying to make sure that we're getting the quality, with a balance with the money. So we end up keeping them, some of them a little longer than we needed to.
Because we really wanted to finish the projects in time, and thankfully I think that the major projects we've completed, in a timely manner,
on budget and on time. So we end up having to get rid of a few workmen along the way and keep replacing them. But in the end we were able to complete. Right? But that was the most stressful part of the projects. That was the most stressful part, because we've got a plan, we've got time frame, we've got a budget, and we're not doing the work ourselves, so we're depending on the workmen. And if they're not pulling, holding up to their end of the bargain, you can find yourself way behind time and way over budget. But separate to all of those challenges, how was the experience?
For me, I absolutely love construction work.
I think you loved it too much because you end up doing rendering,
I
mixing water.
learned every single trade, every single one of them, from mason to
steelwork,
to welder to steel. I learned all of them.
Yeah,
And
carpentry.
yes.
The electrical work, the piping.
No, not the electrical.
No, you have an understanding of, obviously.
understanding, but
Yeah. No, you know this because obviously when we're doing a quote for the clients,
yeah,
we have to have an understanding of all of that.
Of
so we get the
course.
pricing right.
Yeah.
We end up off the top of our heads started knowing what things cost. Yeah, just because we're ordering them so often.
Yes.
And this is something I want to say on that point. If you're gonna build and you're planning to build and you know you're gonna build, start now, because the prices were literally going up every day.
They were going up.
Yeah.
Gosh, it would be interesting to see what
They are not.
to compare them from then till now.
Yeah.
So if you guys are building, start. I know probably you haven't started because of what we're talking about, can't get the right workman, and maybe you have had workmen before and the disappointment. God, we know.
Yeah. We had some really, really good times, and what was even more rewarding for us, at least 3 of the projects, the big ones, were really, really good friends of ours. Yeah. And for us, this was like our home that we're trying to get done. So we were just like so, excited to see the changes and see things happening. And in the end, so that journey was just so much fun, seeing the transitions. One of the things as well we learned along the way is to resolve problems that even most of the seasoned contractors here are not doing and haven't figured it out. So for example, one of the properties, when we started, when rainfall, it was just flooded everywhere. The back, the front, the side, everything was flooded.
And they just, you weren't getting anything from them. They couldn't figure out what to do. And,
and in the end,
we came up with, let's dig some soakaways. We're going to dig about, 4 or 5 of them.
But 6 of
some
them, I think
deep,
we did.
I don't know, 6-foot holes with some big stones down in there.
But luckily,
boulders.
the building, the complex was still in the finishing phase. So there was a section in the complex that had all of those big boulders, big stones.
So we just used those.
So we just used them up, and we dig a deep, nice, wide soak away, put in the boulders, put smaller ones on top, and then when we do that finishing on the top, you wouldn't know they're underneath. And then when the heavy rain came,
there's no issues up to today.
No issues. So we weren't just doing what we needed to do. We were thinking outside of the box, and as problems arise, we go and we do our research and we ask around, and we were just getting stuff done. We ended up just doing the right guttering for people that had no idea what guttering they need, how they need to do it, and we were figuring out the right way to do the guttering, because some people were using the plastic one until they realized the aluminum was the better choice. And don't just put your gutter up, but do a drainage system with the 4-inch pipes to sort of send it off the property under the concrete before. So most people do the concrete and then do the guttering, so then all that water is just rushing as it please. But if you think ahead Then so all of that we figure out and start doing. So you put your gutter up before you do your concrete work, and run your pipes and connect them up and run them out up on the street. So we end up doing stuff like that. The other thing to note about the payments: don't ever give your workman the full money that the project costs. Yeah, do it in phases. So they get a little deposit, and you agree the payment stages. And when they get to this point, then you check it and verify it, then you get to pay them. But if you dare pay them one time and it's the wrong workman, you're gonna have a problem, because I know people that have to come down, take them to court. I know people that still don't get the money back, and it's just best to be safer than sorry.
Always have someone there to manage your project. Somebody on the ground who's trustworthy themselves.
Yeah.
And pray like you've never prayed before for patience.
Yeah. You're gonna need that.
Oh my God, let me tell you a story about a carpenter. So our carpenter, good carpenter, he's done a lot of work.
Yeah.
He has experience. I tell you, you have to sit on him. And when I say sit down on him, you have to be there with him 24/7. Because if you leave, in the right behind you.
It's gone. It's gone.
There's times we had to drive up and down and look for this guy and bring him back.
Not kidnapping him, but just say, hey, you're meant to be doing this.
Yeah.
And you say this was going to finish in 2 days, but we haven't even gotten halfway. And he give you a ton of story. And then
I soon come, man. I soon come. Listen, a Jamaican tell you so then soon come.
Yeah.
They ain't coming.
Yeah. But he does a good job. It's just that you can't take him for his word. So if he says it's going to take 6 weeks, if you don't sit down on him, that 6 weeks can turn into 6 months easily.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So you need patience, as you say.
Yes.
And we had to really just be patient with him, because guess what? He started and we had to finish with him, because if not, it would end up costing more.
Yes.
And one of the things that we value, we take pride in, is if we give you a quote to say this is what it's gonna cost. You
can't go back and
we don't want to go back and say,
yeah.
actually, there's an issue here. We need to change this guy because he's not gonna bring it in on time, and it's to find someone else gonna cost him more.
That's one of the worst things.
Yeah.
I think why we even ended up losing money. In instances like that, because it was so difficult for us to go back and say, actually, by the way, this didn't cost this. We need some.
Yeah. We didn't know.
Sometimes we actually absorb the cost.
Yeah. And it's not that,
in one, I think we only ever probably did it one time, maybe, I can't remember. But I remember one instance going back to the client and saying, actually, the workman actually charged this for this part, and it was the most uncomfortable thing ever, because
but it does happen, because sometimes for example, with a pool, you get a quote to dig a pool, and they're assuming it's gonna go smoothly, but once you go below the surface, you realize there are rocks. So rather than the guy just digging normally, now you're gonna need more equipment, you're gonna need more time. And remember, the guys are working like the laborers. You're paying them on a daily rate. Yeah. So if it's gonna take longer, then multiply what they're getting per day over that period. If you need to bring in machinery, then it's gonna cost more. So sometimes that's to be expected with construction work. It's an estimate. Yeah.
So just bear that in mind, that it is an estimate. We're just saying, for us, it was just it's a difficult thing to do, to go back to the client and say, some people don't feel no way, they go, me need money. But for us, it's
those were difficult parts to do that. The other thing as well with the construction, just remember, always have plumbing equipment, your elbow, your pipes, your this, because I promise you, so much burst pipes, so much mishap with pipes, and
Oh, Lord.
that can delay the thing like forever if you're not equipped, with those things. Find the hard way if it's at night when it happens and you haven't got a tool. So we were doing a big project where we were going up. How many rooms and bathroom and all of that was, but that was one of the big ones. And late at night, remember, we had to go down there with the two plumbers because some major piping issue happened on the top.
Yeah. So that's been some of our experiences. Would you do it again?
Oh, definitely. This time it would be.
And when I say do it again, obviously we're doing, we still do the smaller projects, but
we still do. But if we would have jumped in the way we jumped in at the beginning without it being a plan, yeah, definitely. Because what we did wasn't just managing projects for people. We really healed some wounds people had with the experiences they had. We know what it feels like because you oversee, you plan to come down, you have an investment here, you're gonna you have plans for it, and when you put that funds together to complete that project and it's not getting completed and it keeps costing you money, it's very frustrating. And if you're not able to come and sit down and do it yourself, it's difficult. But fortunately, obviously, when we came down, we were on the ground, so the neighbors were very happy that we were here, so we were just sort of helping them out with the projects. And then it turned into us now literally taking on big projects and managing all of them.
So it was
and so not to cut you, but one of the good thing is because we built up a network, we were able to get big equipments, heavy duty units, to get the projects done quicker. Whereas if you were supposed to get those equipment, it would to go and rent them privately, it would cost a ton of money. You understand? So we were able to network and pull, get onto some connections and get things done.
Guys, if you're looking, but everything, I always come back to the Bible. It's about serving. You want to start a business, think about how you're going to serve. It truly is about service, and when you have that mindset of service, just watch what God can do.
Oh yeah.
Just watch what God can do, because when you're just about self and pleasing self, it doesn't go anywhere. Maybe in some instances it does.
Doesn't bring the satisfaction that you should get. It doesn't bless others. And there's a principle that as God bless you, bless someone else, and then that cycle will continue. But if you're only always thinking about what you can get, but the only regret I have would be that they didn't grasp that concept.
Yes.
And we started and completed with them.
Yes.
Because it would have been a really good story at the end, had they sort of grasped. It would have been nice to finish with them, but we ended up having to finish with other workmen because it got to the stage where now it was almost like sabotage. Because now they know we're trying to meet targets, so we would be like, okay, this needs to happen today for that to happen tomorrow, and they would just not turn up for today for what needs to happen tomorrow. And when it got to that point, we sort of gave as much opportunity as we could, gave the speeches for them to come on board. And when we realized that it wasn't happening, we just had to take action because it wasn't just about us. We understand? We had clients that we obviously given our word about time frames and all of that. And it was around about Christmas period.
Yes.
And we had 3 of the major projects that needed to complete for Christmas because they were coming home for Christmas. So there's no way we could not have finished it.
I would say as well that experience is invaluable because or for when we were gonna build our country home.
Country home, yes, yes,
Because I would
yes.
love to build that from scratch.
So that's our intention when we
Yeah.
move out in the country, to basically do it from scratch and make it a purpose built. And it's gonna be fun, because we're gonna have all the right team members and we have the know-how. So we'll just make that happen, and within the time frame that we need it to happen. But we had some really, really, really good times at the hardware, with the workmen, with third party that we had to bring in, and just the whole experience was a good one. I had to do some real hard manual work. We loved it, and go to bed.
You were getting kind
Yeah,
of,
it was
kind
it
of
was.
buff.
Yeah, kind of,
Did good for your muscles.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, comment down below. Let us know about your experiences in whichever aspect that we've discussed. And if you have any questions and you want to reach out to us in project management, construction, anything, feel free to comment, and we will definitely respond.
Yeah. So until next time, bye.
Bye. See you soon.